Hey everybody, what's up? This is AEZ Canada episode 18, and we're back. We took a week off. I myself is Matt Gracie, and we have a new member to the podcast, Siren. Siren, how are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm doing absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for asking. Yes. Excited to be here.
Nice. And Connor, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good. It's great to have Siren on. Believe it or not, the first woman we've ever had on the AEZ Canada ever, and I believe the fourth woman ever on the Ollie Zone ever. So history in the making. So it's great to have you on, Siren.
Represent.
Very cool. And welcome to the team. It's always nice to have a different perspective, not only from having a male-female perspective, but also from across the country. I myself are in Toronto, and you mentioned you're in Saskatoon?
Yeah, Toontown, Saskatchewan.
That's fun. Very cool. And we have Connor, who's still our resident U.S. Member here. And you're in what, Tennessee, Connor?
Technically Olive Branch, Mississippi, but I could just walk to Memphis if I wanted to. Memphis, Tennessee, if I wanted to. Just walk across the street, and I'm in Memphis. So.
Okay, because I mentioned I know you mentioned you've gone to shows there, so that's why I kind of assumed there. Yeah. So okay, it wasn't too far off, but I was just across the street then. Okay, so not too bad. So yeah, that's great. Another great week of wrestling. Especially we're looking at AEZ. We're going to look at first our typical review of Dynamite. We'll go through some of the matches that Connor's going to introduce. And then today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk a bit about the Attitude Era and maybe maybe some of our favorite highlights, that we remember from that point of view. I know there might be a bit of an age gap with us, so what I remember is going to be different from, say, Siren or Connor, but that's great because I have those different viewpoints and what it all meant to us. So great. So it's nice to be here, guys, and I'll pass it over to you, Connor.
Yeah. So this was last week's Dynamite. Yeah. They were in Montreal, Canada. No, Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
That's right.
A very historic building. If anyone knows what happened in the Attitude Era, we'll talk about later. The first match was Jon Moxley versus Rush. Another match in the AEW Continental Classic, round robin tournament style. This tournament was on the Gold Group. The Gold Group is on Dynamite, and the Blue Group is normally on Collision. But Moxley and Rush started the night off. I thought it was a pretty good match. I wanted Rush to win. I'm kind of over Moxley now. I mean, I really, really like Moxley. He's been one of my favorites, but I get it. I mean, I don't even like Wild Thing anymore. Like, he starts the show. It's either Moxley or Orange Cassidy starting the show. But I still like Moxley, but I thought Rush should have won that. But what do you guys think? What did you guys think about Moxley versus Rush?
I mean, I definitely feel like LFI needs a little bit more of a push, so I would have been down for that. I agree. Not that I don't love Moxley again. Like, I have a dog named John Moxley, but but yeah, I feel like it would have been cool if Rush would have taken it, even if it was just kind of like. But it was very much a slug it out match, and I liked that. I do like a brawler match every once in a while, so it was good, but could have done with Rush.
Yeah, no, I like. I do find that Rush is stepping it up, and I hope they kind of stick with him because he does have that talent. I thought they were doing that push with him before, and he kind of faded away. I don't know if he went back to Mexico, and then they brought him back. He did. He's definitely playing more to the crowd. He's being very little more flamboyant in the confidence. I kind of noticed. I don't know if you guys saw. I mean, it was a good match. Like I said, it was a slugfest because that was like a brawl, and that's what they kind of talked about. But I kind of noticed there's a couple of times on the timing seemed off, almost like Moxley was supposed to do something and it didn't. Or I just felt there was a little bit of a weird timing. And I don't know if you guys noticed at the end when Moxley had Rush and was choking him out, and he literally had his arm down and said he's passed out. Soon as Moxley dropped him, Rush got right up. Almost like he like non-selling the move. Like, he didn't even do the usual like grogginess. He just got up immediately. But I was like, oof, almost like, I don't know if that was a slight if that was purposely done, the slight, almost like showing his frustration. Maybe he felt like he should have won. And then Moxley won, and he almost like, you know what? fine, I'll do it, but I'm not selling the final after. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but I kind of noticed he got up really quicker than what normally you would get up after a John Moxley chokeout.
I agree. The announce team did try to be like, oh look, you know, sometimes it happens that you don't know if you won or not or what happened, and they did try to sell it over the announce team, but yeah, I do feel like he did get up quite quick.
Yeah, kind of. When we were watching it live on here, it really felt like he got up really quick. Like normally for a chokehold by Moxley, you're not going to go up in 2 seconds, but he got straight up after he lost.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of Austin Aries and Johnny Impact, who anyone knows what happened with there. Johnny TV now, he beat Austin Aries, and Austin Aries gets straight up and walks away. He no-sold the whole thing. But I don't know, Roosh. Hopefully he picks up some more wins in the Continental Classic. I know this next or this recording tomorrow night it'll be Moxley and Swerve Strickland. Both of them are undefeated in the Continental Classic, so someone's walking out with a loss in this tournament. Finally,
I think it's going to be Mox.
I can say overall so far, I think this has been a really good tournament. They've had some really good guys on there. I was really again, I was a little disappointed. I know some guys. I know guys have to win and guys have to lose, and you can see now it's kind of being set up. I mean, I was a little surprised that Mark Briscoe didn't get a win. I was like, I know he's putting guys over the great matches. And I know that's also part of it. Even though you're not winning, the fact that you're still being showcased, you still got great matches, and you still got a job. I know that's part of the gig, and he's obviously good at putting these guys over. And some of that, and that's part of what I think some of these guys have to do, and they have to be okay with it, right? And so far I'm impressed. I think that it's been a good tournament overall.
Speaking of Mark Briscoe, the next match was Swerve Strickland versus Mark Briscoe. Swerve picked up another win. He's undefeated in this tournament. He's won 3. He's got 3 points, total of 9 points. Each win equals 3 points. A draw equals 1. We haven't seen a draw yet in this tournament so far.
No, I was actually mentioning that while I was watching it.
I thought Jay Watt versus Jay Lethal, or which one was it? Swerve and Briscoe. Like that was going a pretty long match. I thought that was going to be a draw, but they.
I have noticed they're actually going, like a lot of these matches are at least going 15 minutes at least. So they are, for some of the matches, they are trying to bring that drama, like, because you hear the 5 minutes left and you're like, oh wow, is this actually going to possibly be a draw? So they are kind of getting close. So you actually are starting to think. And you know what I like about this is they're letting these guys, because all these guys in the tournament are all really good and they're all putting on really good shows. And I love how you're able to get these guys like a Strickland and Moxley we're gonna get, right? Like these other matches that you normally need a big build of a storyline. I kind of like that randomness, right? And also you get 2 guys going head to head, with no backstory. It's just boom, right? So I'm going to pick. I think Swerve's going to go be in the finals.
I would love that. I mean, I'm going to switch back to like the Mark and Swerve for a little bit, because there was a really cool moment. There was actually a couple of really cool moments. That reversal that Swerve did off the ropes was really, really freaking sweet. I want to point that out because that was a really neat athletic thing that, I mean, it was just a little thing, but it was really cool. Oh gosh, where was it? The J Driller. Has anybody seen him Mark pull off the J Driller since he's come back after Jay? Because I've been keeping tabs on it, that he has tried, and he tries significantly, and he always tries in like big matches, and he's never been able to get it off, to my knowledge. And I've been so like I don't know if it's like a long-term story thing that they're gonna maybe play into later. Like I know that you were mentioning like he's putting people over. I really do think that it is. I mean, I'm fingers crossed that it's gonna be like this long-term rebuilding of him as a singles wrestler. In my personal, I hope, because he is really trying to pull off that J Driller. I mean, if anybody out there can find like him doing it since he got back, please show me, because I have not been able to see that, and I would love to. And it's starting to make me really like.
I wonder if there's other reasons why.
Yeah, because like he tries and he really does, and he makes a big show of it. And every time the announce team points it out, he's going for the J Driller, and I'm like, he's not going to get it off. And I call it every time, and he doesn't. He hasn't. So unless somebody can show me otherwise, please do. I have not seen it been fully pulled off by Mark. And I don't know if that's story or if that's just me being a crazy person, but
Well, I guess we'll see, because again, maybe there has to be a bit of a reward system. I mean, he's did a great showing in the tournament. He's gone head to head, competitive matches. You weren't even sure if he kind of wanted him to win. He's put these guys over. That you'd hope that they at least say, look, you just let me. I had to lose 3 matches in a row, possibly 4. That they're going to give him an opportunity to start that. And okay, you know what? Do this. You've done well. Okay, now it's your time to shine a bit, because you can't keep losing again. He can't do 4 losses in a row. Again, you start losing that momentum. You start losing that, like, oh, he's not that good anymore, or they're not putting him over. So I think they're going to give him a bit of a run, to your point. Once they kind of he's done this, he's put guys over, did a great showing. So I think he deserves a bit of a run at this point.
For sure.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that he has not hit the. I know they were talking about on commentary, but I did not know until now that he hasn't hit it.
He hasn't. And like I said, please, if somebody can find it for me, I would love to. But like, I make a conscious effort, because the first time that he went for it after Jay, I was like, oh man, this is going to be poetic. And then he didn't get it off. And I was like, oh. And then ever since then, it's just like, oh, so.
Yeah. I thought that they need to put Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal against each other on Rampage, because neither one of them has a win. They're both 0-3, and they're probably going to go out the tournament with not a win. But I think we could see our first draw on Wednesday with Moxley and Swerve. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a draw.
I wouldn't be surprised either, because it doesn't hurt either of them.
And then that builds up because that'll set it up for the build up for later if they meet again in the tournament, as it starts to kind of get down the bracket, start moving. Right, and because then they'll still be undefeated, right? So that still creates the drama.
I could see them doing a full-on Moxley and Swerve feud.
I would love that though, just because they're so brutal.
And they're both crazy. Like they're both crazy right now.
Like if it kind of feels disrespectful to Moxley that Swerve and Hangman match at Full Gear, because Moxley wasn't a part of it. That's something Moxley would have done.
Oh yeah, he totally would have done that, and he would have done it well. But I feel like, I mean, to your point, like that is somewhere that they could go, and I would really enjoy it. I'd be there for every minute of that. And they're both kind of crazy, like Swerve going into Hangman's house, like Moxley's like, how can I top that? You want to get crazy? Like, I'm down. And I think that would be really cool. I would be so cool with that.
Yeah, I think they need to continue to have Swerve with these big feuds. I'd actually like to see him beat Orange Cassidy for the international championship. Swerve Strickland. I know everyone wants him to go for the world title, but
not yet.
There's other titles besides the world. And like the international fits Swerve. Like he could go to all these different promotions and defend the belt. He's going to House of Glory. He went to recently. He got a big ovation. That'd be a perfect place for him to defend the international championship.
I agree.
Yeah.
Nope. Next would be the Samoa Joe, which supposed to be a tag match.
Yeah, we got MJF and Hangman. They had a kind of a promo, kind of a backstage segment before that. MJF was talking to Renee Paquette. That's her last name. Hangman came by and MJF said something, and then they continued to talk to each other. Now it's got me wondering if I don't know if Hangman could be the devil, but it just seems weird how they did that. I
really hope not.
That would be interesting, because I never thought Hangman as a possible option for the devil.
I thought it was Tony Khan now.
Who?
Tony Khan.
Do you?
I could see that happening. Like when Vince,
I was gonna say.
Like it was me, Max. It was me all along.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that, because
no.
I like Tony just owning the company.
Yeah.
I'm still saying again. I'm still going with Roderick. I think it's strong.
Next strong.
Yeah, he did. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, after that, that backstage segment we were supposed to get MJF versus Samoa Joe versus 2 mystery people, whoever the worshippers are, but we didn't get any of that, because we saw MJF laid out, the back, and then the lights flickering off and on. They surround Samoa Joe in the ring, and then they just leave. I thought they were going to beat up Samoa Joe, but after that, Samoa Joe goes to the back, and we don't get the match at all. What do you guys think about that whole segment?
I love Mama Bird Samoa Joe. I love Mama Bird Samoa Joe. And you guys can chuckle all you want, but watching him separate that Hangman promo, like the little thing with him and MJF, that was fucking awesome. Like, don't touch that. That's mine. It was great. Like, we gotta go. And just every time like MJF gets himself into shenanigans now, he's just like, oh my God. And I love that. And I really love that because I love Samoa Joe. I love Samoa Joe. And so I really dig it. Although it did look like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but on his way down out of the ring, it really did look like he wrapped his knees on the way down, and he like stopped and then he like ran up the ramp, and I was like, oh man, that looked like that hurt. Like, really, bro. But I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't know who the devil is. And I like that.
I would still like to see Samoa Joe with the belt.
I'm not opposed.
You know, I think he could do a run as actual champion. You know, he's badass. He has a reputation. This is kind of a funny twist to this scenario, because again, he's helping him protect him, but you know, he's just protecting because he just wants to beat the crap out of himself, right? It's that older
exactly
brother, like no one else can touch him. I can beat up my brother, but no one else can, right? So it's that kind of mentality. But again, could it be? I don't know. Is there any chance that it could be MJF still be the devil, or is there too many? Is it too quick? Because again, things look too staged, and like he was lying there with a beer, but the bottle broken. Like
I've seen on Facebook that it's Adam Cole and MJF. They're both in it, and they're gonna fool everyone that they were in the mask all along.
I would dig it. I wouldn't be opposed. I've honestly been like a devil worshiper. I've been a MJF fan always. Like, and so finally now, like, hearing other people like chant for him when he comes out, and I'm like, yeah. And everyone's like, well, wouldn't you hate it if he like did a turn? And I'm like, no, I'd be like, that's my scumbag, you know, like, yeah.
He will turn. Like, there's no doubt.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right, because MJF's character, in his essence, is he's always going to be a heel. The best version of him will be the heel. I think this has gone longer than it should have or expected, just because Adam Cole got hurt. So all of a sudden they kind of have the storylines, but because they still want to keep. I think they still really love the idea of whatever storyline they wanted. So they have to keep him babyface, do these things. But there's always a bit of like things. He never seems genuine. You know what I mean? They always kind of feel like it's a bit of a show. So when he does turn, he's going to do the whole like, haha, I can't believe I fooled you guys. You actually thought that I would actually be this nice. So yeah, so I'm just waiting for the turn, but they must be waiting for Adam Cole to be back, you know, kind of fully healed or mostly healed before they can continue on what they want to do.
I agree. I dig it. Can we mention Roderick Strong? I can't remember his name right now because I'm on the spot. The guy with the giraffe hoodie. I love that giraffe hoodie. I want that giraffe hoodie. I want to be next strong.
Called again? What do they call him? Strong? What do they call him?
Roderick Strong, the next strong. And the one buddy came out with a
But what do they call the giraffe? The giraffe has a name. I forget what they call the giraffe.
The other two guys from the Kingdom are Matt Taven and Mark Bennett.
Yeah, it was Mike Bennett. I think. No, I'm lying. Okay. Anyway, but I can't remember the giraffe's name now. I'm too much of a burnout. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was the next segment. I guess after that, Roderick Strong is no longer in the wheelchair. It was a miracle. He's still got a leg brace though. That hasn't been yet. So he's not in the wheelchair anymore. He threw it away. And then tomorrow night we have Roderick Strong and Hangman Page. That's going to be interesting because I don't know who's going to win that. I feel like Roderick Strong will need to win, but Hangman doesn't really need to win. I feel like he's already lost twice to Swerve. So if he can lose Swerve twice, I feel like he could. But you got the Kingdom, so maybe they play a role in this match. So
yeah, if Rod wins, it won't be a clean win.
I don't think it'll be a clean win at all. No, definitely not.
Which will save Page. Because again, especially if you've got distraction, then it's kind of a a distraction, whatever. It's again a cheat win, so that's fine. So if it's a cheat
win, it doesn't hurt him.
It doesn't hurt Page, but again, you can't let Roderick. He can't lose either right now because they're building up his character. So it's got to be. He has to go over somehow and with a cheap win. That's what I think.
I think so. I'm so glad he got rid of that chair. He almost killed himself on getting into that chair out of the ring recently. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, no, I really hope that. I'm not gonna lie. I hope Roderick wins. I hate him, but I love to hate him.
Yeah, he's at least doing the best version of a character that I've seen. I know he's talented, and I've always. No, I didn't mind him, but I was just kind of like meh on his character, especially in NXT. So I like that he's found something. He is going a bit overboard on the whole like screaming the first name. I think that's like dial that back.
I was just gonna say Samoa Joe. I love that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm so cheesy though. I'm such a mark.
I like the Adam. I like Adam. That's fine. But now he's doing it to everybody.
Yeah.
So I like the Adam part made sense. Now it's kind of he's just doing it for that whatever his shtick.
The crowd eats it up.
So the next match we have is the women's match. We have Toni Storm versus Sky Blue. This is Toni Storm's first title defense as the 3-time AEW World's Women Champion. Toni Storm. I thought this was one of the best matches of the night. I'd actually, when we had a live reaction, this was one of my favorite matches. Toni Storm and Sky Blue. That was a really good paced match. Both of them got their stuff in. And Toni wins, which I think that was kind of obvious that she was going to win. But we had a return after this match. But what did you guys think of the match of Toni Storm and Sky Blue?
I really enjoyed it. I thought that Toni was super aggressive, and I like that. I absolutely hated Toni Storm when she came to AEW. So her total like 180 and her dialing her stuff up to like 100 is amazing, and I think it's great. That where she goes to like do that lunge pin when she's on the ground and she like lunges over Sky Blue and pins her. That was so well. I mean, like obviously for the two, but it was so good. Like it was so fluid and it looked very aggressive, and like the way that she has been presenting herself in the ring has been very like animalistic and aggressive, and then so like out there poised and refined outside the ring. I'm really digging timeless Toni Storm. I felt that Sky Blue was a little bit sloppy, but their chemistry was really good. But there was like just a couple like just like a few where I was like that could have connected better. But other than that, they worked really well together, and I thought the match had really great pace, as you said. So it was entertaining, very entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Toni Storm, of the character, but she's doing it well, and she has something, and it seems to be working, and she's fully engaged in it. So I appreciate it for that. I appreciate the character, and she's running with it, and I like kind of what they're doing in the dramatics part of it. It's so she's really playing to it in the entertainment part of it. Like this is sports entertainment right now.
She made screen time for herself, though. She made screen time for herself during other people's matches, like being able to come out during Hikaru's matches, and she also made screen time for Luther, which I think is super dope because you haven't seen Luther in forever. That is a gimmick to get yourself out there, to get other people on air. Like, I think she's smart. It may be annoying for some people, but like, what is it? Head up or chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a great use of Luther. I love that, the big kind of henchman. He's wearing the black and white, the suit, almost like the bodyguard, so to speak, a little bit when he catches her. So I do like that. I'm just like waiting for Sky Blue. Like I'd love, and I don't know, and I keep on getting glimpses, and I always think that that she's going to join Julia Hart. I see in the eyes, I'm like, can you just join House of Black? I think they would make a great tag team. And I've been an advocate since we started the podcast. I keep on saying, where is the women's tag belt? Just get them tag belts already. You could create, and I've gone on many shows talking about, you can take two characters. All of a sudden you create one new, like all these teams. There's like so many other things you can do now. Like I think that'd be a great tag team, and have them both House of Black and have two women representing House of Black. They both kind of have that way. It looks like Sky Blue is going that way. They even had that tension in some of their matches with the kind of looks. So you're always like, what's going to happen? She did the mist. So I still think there's something there, and I think she'd be a good fit for House of Black to have. If you're going to try and also create a women's version for House of Black, I think those two would be it.
Well, I mean, at Abaddon, like I love what they're doing with Abaddon and Julia Hart. I know this is off Dynamite topic, but we had to.
Yeah. I'm glad to see her back.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know, they're really pumping because she was kind of off, and she's had a lot of, I guess, like dark matches or when it was on. But now they're pumping.
Hmm.
She's 43-3, and it's like, what? Where? When did she rack up all these wins? So now they're trying to push her now, giving her the opportunity.
Which is phenomenal.
Right. I'm glad because she's got a great gimmick, and I think there's some of the women are stepping up because right now, like you don't have Britt Baker's not around. Like she took up a lot of show. Like her
I
team.
love the Baker.
Right? So she's not there. And there's I feel like some of these girls, Soraya
Here?
is here, like there, but not there. Like she's not full time. So there's an opportunity for the Toni Storms, right, to really have more time, like you said, making screen time for herself because she's feeling. I think they're filling in the gaps with these other women that were there. They're not there. So they're helping. They're kind of keeping that afloat right now. So so Abaddon, hey, and she's entertaining and she's got a good look and good it's kind of that crazy and there isn't a character like that, so
I like it.
it keeps her unique and you need that. She has that kind of, I don't know, it's like a Gangrel / George Animal Steel, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Her new makeup is so much more cool. It's so much more sleek.
I really like Abaddon. I would push a lot of stuff that I tweeted Toni. He actually, I don't know how. I've met Tony Khan once. Yeah, once.
Oh, that's so jealous.
But it's just crazy because some of the stuff we do on here, in a few days it happens. It's too many things that we say that happens. So
Bring blood orange.
One night I was saying that can we get Abaddon besides Halloween? Like she got one of the best records in the women's division. She has the better record than a lot of the top women in AEW. So why can't she be involved? And then 2 days later she's on Collision and then she's doing stuff with Julia Hart.
Heck yeah.
I really, really like Abaddon. Her character is a lot of people would say Jade was a crossover wrestler, but I think Abaddon is more of a crossover wrestler because a lot of horror fans, if they knew who Abaddon was, they'd probably watch AEW.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of horror fans out there that really like horror stuff, and Abaddon fits that. So if they would just do one cinematic match, just one like kind of like the Sting and Darby versus Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Tie that into like a Rampage or something. I feel like that would get a lot of horror fans in the AEW, and then they'll probably watch the whole show. Then they'll find another wrestler they like. Then they'll watch regularly. So
I agree with that. And Abaddon does her gimmick so well. Like her movements are so perfect. And like I will totally give it to the female roster as well for selling into her gimmick so well. Like her match with Trish Adora recently was absolutely phenomenal. The way that Trish like looked at her was like, and I was like, that's what it would be like if I was in the ring with that spooky, like don't fight me. I don't know. It's great. I think it's great. And I love it. And I want to see more of it.
I'm almost going to see I'm almost waiting for, because of her character, it's almost like because you know how we've got Christian Cage when he had Luchasaurus, almost like he's now the henchman, like the Frankenstein, and she's kind of that like creature of the night, almost like a Frankenstein. Almost I feel it could be someone like a Julia Hart, could almost cast it, like have her at her mercy to do like her bidding. Like almost feel like there's going to be something where she gets teamed up and she's going to be the crazy, but someone will be like the mouthpiece for almost like the female version of a Christian Cage in a bit, right? So I'm wondering if like a Julia Hart, because she has that mystical way right now. So is she going to kind of cast a spell, right? I know they're looking at each other and there's going to be a match, and it looks like Abaddon will probably get very soon a championship match. But there's going to be something. I know there has to be more to it. I think they're going to put someone with her. That's my prediction anyways.
I mean, they do have her speaking a lot more than she ever used to. The Abaddon never used to speak. Well, very, very rarely, except for like, and they do have her speaking, and it's quite awesome. I love it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like she's not communicating a whole lot right now, but they also haven't really necessarily given her a chance to cut a promo or anything recently. Like, but she's more words have been uttered from Abaddon in the last like 2 weeks than she has her entire AEW career.
I mean, it could be because look how long. Then I mean, if they go down the route, almost like a Paul Bearer and Undertaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Undertaker did the bidding, right? And you had the mouthpiece, you had
exactly
the one directing it, right? So that's what I kind of think. But have you ever seen her with her makeup off?
Oh, she's hot.
Yeah, she's
like 10 out of 10 would, yeah.
Wow, like I saw a image of like,
it would be impossible for someone to put her out and like I actually seen her to AEW and I've seen her She didn't think I knew who she was, but I knew who she was. Just because the body stature, the hair.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, she's very different. I wish they'd do like a split personality one of these days. Like, give the Abaddon and you have, I don't know, give her her real name. It was split
That'd
character.
be so crazy.
Oh, you want to do a Bray Wyatt? You want to do like a Bray Wyatt thing?
More like
like a fiend.
Yeah, you do like it's
yeah,
Fiend
yes,
Bray
so.
Wyatt.
Yeah, I guess you would say that. Yeah.
I just love Abaddon so much, and she's been putting in so much work. Like I actually follow her on Instagram. Like she's one of the few people that I'm like avidly following on Instagram, and I love following her and her journey right now. And it was so awesome to watch her over the last couple of months. So, by the way, props. Like it's awesome.
I agree. It's good. It's good to see some other women get opportunities when others went out, and they're stepping up. So you know, it's one of those things. If someone gets hurt or there's something happen, that's that's the wrestlers. That's their opportunity, and they're fully engaging in that opportunity and taking it whatever they can. So good for them that they're making the best of it.
I'm gonna
Do any of you know who Max the Impaler is?
Yes. Yes.
No.
All right, we're talking about women's tag titles. Abaddon and Max the Impaler would they fit together perfectly.
That would be really cool, but I don't think they'll ever bring Max the Impaler to because like what's that? I don't watch a whole heck of a lot of WWE currently. I'm like trying to force myself back into it. Yeah, there's like a whole like I don't know about that because what's her name?
Logan. She basically copied the whole attire, like the whole. Like she copied the entire thing.
Yeah, it looked pretty iffy. So yeah, but I mean, I would love to see Maxine Impaler. She's vicious. She is a freaking beast of a woman, and I would love that. Love that for AEW.
Yeah, that. And we had Riho come back. I haven't mentioned yet. She made her return after the match. Looks like she'll be challenging Toni Storm pretty soon. Because tomorrow night on Dynamite we have Riho versus Ruby Soho. So I assume Riho would probably win.
She's new to me.
Yeah, it was great to see Riho back. Hopefully she's back for a little while longer this time.
Yeah.
Because lots of times she's gone and she's here and she's gone. I like when she was full time because we got a lot of good matches with her.
Phenomenally talented.
Yeah, she put a lot of good matches on in the day one-ish of AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would do. She's for me. I know she's a good wrestler, but she doesn't really do much for me. And I think if they're going to bring she came back, I think this would have been a good time to kind of do a character reset. You know, do something because this kind of like I don't know. I just don't. I'm kind of over the gimmick, and I think I like her. She's entertaining, and I think it's time. I think they could put like a darker spin on it or a sexier spin on. I don't know. There's just something that there has an edge.
I was like, I don't know if Riho can be sexy.
I know. Well, it's going to be a real character change, right? It'll be a complete opposite, and I think it needs something that's different, right?
Yeah, I get that. Her wrestling style is just so cute and fun and noodly though. Like I would love to see her as a more aggressive wrestler. It's just hard to sell that with her body type, I feel. They would have to do something theatric in my mind with her body type. Like the reason that her works is because like when they go to pin her, she can like noodle out of it because she's so like wee and flexible, and peppy and like but I would love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I am that kind of person that I don't feel like you've truly made an impact as a wrestler until you can do both and show me both in a way that I love it. So like I would love it, but I can't see it. So that in itself kind of makes me a little curious now.
Yeah, I think it's something. I think she deserves a change. I think it gives them that kind of control and say, okay, I think we could do a good push with you, but we need to have you changed. I'd like to see it. So, like you said, is it in her blood? Is it in her DNA to have a come back as a mean streak? I don't know. I always think it'd be fun to be a heel, and some guys love being heels because you can do so much more and talk to the crowd and be obnoxious, and you just can't be that as a baby face.
Yeah, it's me.
I feel like MJF misses doing that. I miss MJF doing that.
I miss MJF doing that too. Oh, like the when he did the turn, I was so upset. I was live streaming, I was playing my games, and I was like, oh, I was talking to my people about it, and they're like, why are you so upset? Aren't you happy that he's nice now? And I'm like, yeah, but the chances of like me meeting him and asking him to spit in my face and him actually doing it are so low now. Like, ah.
Yeah,
I got to
So
meet
sad.
MJ when he was heel. He was right about to turn face. Not much of a reaction really, but
So jealous.
because I didn't really talk to him because I got him to sign like 1 out of 5,000. No, 1 out of 1,000 figure. I did not want that tore up, so I just got him to sign it, and then I said something because I already seen him throwing figures around. Like, if someone asked him a question, he threw them across the room, and
really.
And you were like, just don't, please, God, don't. Like,
that's why I didn't say a word. I didn't say anything until he signed it and I got it in my hands.
yeah.
That's awesome.
I love that. I'm so jealous.
I've met a lot of wrestlers. I probably couldn't name all of them. After that, we have Jay White versus Jay Lethal, the final match of the night in the Continental Classic. This one was a really good match. I feel like it was kind of predictable who was going to win. Jay White won. It was a pretty good match. Both of them had their moments in the match. Jay White picks up the win. Do you have any intel on that match?
Oh, I really liked it. I liked the crowd for that match, actually. As a Canadian, I love Canadian crowds, and the Quebec crowd did not disappoint. They had a ton of great chants, but this one was "Let's go, Jay! Jay, you suck!" And I was like, "This is the best! Like, this is the greatest!" And what is it? What is it? What is it? Yeah, no, I mean, like, other than that, yeah, it was predictable. I don't have really anything else for it. They had good chemistry. There was no real like botchy moments except for the one where he like has him on his shoulders and he like flips over and like lands on Jay White's side. I
Yeah,
was like, that looked
yeah,
a little owie. That was supposed to be a little bit more through. But other than that, everything looked really clean, like technical wise, it was pretty good. So I liked that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know the movie you're talking about because normally it's the other
Yeah.
way, but they did it
Yeah.
a different kind of way. And that's easy to dislocate a shoulder.
It looked
I wouldn't take
painful.
that.
No, I would not take that bum. I take a lot of bums, not that bum.
Yeah, so no, definitely. Jay White is definitely growing on me, and yeah, I think they've got big plans for him. So again,
Yeah.
I think it'd be, having. I think if we talk about the pillars, I mean, you can talk about what are the new pillars going to be, right? Because we knew what the original pillars of AEW were. Now I think it's starting to shift, and I kind of see like Swerve to me is a pillar. I think almost like Jay White is turning into a pillar, or they're going to push. I mean, he's like that. Those two guys have great talent. So I think Jay White, you're going to see a belt on him for
He
sure.
needs to do something about that pasty stuff that he's got going on after every match, though. I cannot look at him. I cannot look at him win or lose after every match. He's got something in his beard or his mustache. It's this big globby grossness. And like, I know it's not wrestling related. I'm sorry, but like, I gotta point it out because it's gross and it happens every match lately. And I'm like, what are you like? Why? Like, drink some water before you go out there, like something.
Yeah, no, I don't. I hate seeing spit and things stuck in beards, and I hate. I agree with you. That's why I always want to. I see the cameras. I wonder if they tell the guy like, "Hey, man, wipe your face."
Yeah, like, but it's been for him recently, and like so much, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was a pretty good match. I thought Jay White. The main event of the night was obviously Christian Cage, TNT champion, going against Adam. I always call him Edge. Adam
I
Copeland.
know. Yeah.
I refuse to call him Adam Copeland. That's like John Cena coming to AEW and not calling him John Cena. That's just not how it works.
I
But
mean, you wouldn't see him anyway.
I thought this was a really good match. Match-wise, that was really good. I knew something was going to happen because we've seen Edge attack Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. He took them out, so they weren't going to be in the match. I wanted Christian Cage to win this match because I wanted them to go the CM Punk and MJF route. So they have one good match on Dynamite, and then they have another match on the pay-per-view, which is probably going to be a steel cage match, I'm assuming, with Edge and Christian Cage.
Yeah.
So they get a good TV match, and then they have a good pay-per-view match. And I think that's the route they're going to go. I thought the match was really good, but I'm curious to see what you guys think of the ending to this match. And what did you think? It was good? Did you like it?
It makes sense, the story. Again, it's another cheat win. So again, it wasn't a clean win. So it's really, that doesn't look bad on Adam. And of course, like I want the belt. I want Christian to keep the belt. I think he's done a great job with it. And again, that's a heel move. He's got that Ric Flair thing right now from the 80s where he always manages to keep the belt. He always manages to pull out the dirty win where you're like, you just get angry and angry, and he's getting really good at it. And again, you see, so it just puts another twist on, because I was like, hey, because Edge then smashed, what's his name? The kid. You just said
McWayne.
Wayne, right in front of his mom. So again, so it made sense that his mom came back to get justice for her son. But nobody interesting, because your point when you said it should be a steel cage, I think it's going to be, if it is a steel cage, it's going to have, there's definitely going to be tables, ladders, and chairs, because that they were like some of the pioneers of those matches, that to have against each other in a tables, ladders, and chairs match, like that would be pretty cool. You know what I mean? It's almost like paying homage to, the original, what they did. Now they're actually having it against each other. I think that'd be cool.
I'd be so stressed out watching that match. I'd be like, no, watch his head, watch his no, it'd be horrible. But I'd watch it, of course. But I'd be like,
yeah.
No, I thought the match was absolutely phenomenal. I love how they they sell up Christian's like shifty personality like throughout the whole thing. Like it just they're the little things that they do throughout their matches, because they've been wrestling together for so long. Like they could have probably wrestled that entire match with their eyes closed, right? So it's like the little details that they throw in that really kind of like got me. Like, Christian like looking over his shoulder pretending to be hurt, and like, but he's like, and like it just, the shiftiness, and it was really cool. I'm gonna tell you right now that I knew Shayna was like obviously who she was gonna hit when she came out. It was the leather pants. It was the leather pants. She was there for daddy, and that's it. Like, no, I'm just, but yeah, you could tell she came out with like a look on her, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really, really good. I'm excited to see where they go with that. Like, are they going to keep her around? She's been in quite a few little spots now. Like is she coming in? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
so,
I think she could be part of the group.
Like, I would do it.
Like the daddy now he's the daddy now. She's kind of like the partner, the mom. That's
dig it.
We've got his son. Like, I think it could be that little group, right? The four of them. I like that. I mean,
Luchasaurus is getting treated like the dog.
I know. Was it not? What is it?
Kill switch.
I have a feeling it could be, if there's an end to this storyline, I could see where Luchasaurus kind of turns on Christian, helps Edge, and then Edge ends up winning the TNT title, because Luchasaurus finally has enough, right? He's tired of being beat down, and then that's when it comes out. Kind of like it, that to me kind of is the same storyline with MJF and Wardlow, where you're like, he keeps on being, and you get so angry, and you got, you're waiting, because he's like, when's he going to finally snap, right? So that's what I kind of feel what's going on right now with Luchasaurus or Killswitch, and you're kind of waiting, you're waiting for that turn. When's that going to happen? And I think it's going to happen at a big event, and it's going to result in the belt changing hands.
I would love that. I would love that for Luchasaurus or Killswitch.
Yeah, that's the climate for us. No,
he'll go back. Once he goes back, when he turns a babyface, he'll go back to Luchasaurus.
I hope so. I love him.
Yeah,
I love Luchasaurus.
I feel like he is gonna turn on Christian. He's gonna have enough, and then he's gonna go back to everything that he once was, I guess. But I really want to see someone else beat Christian Cage. I fantasy book a lot of stuff, so I like to see Mike Santana beat Christian Cage, because Mike Santana's dad recently passed away, so him actually winning it would be a triumphant story. I feel like that would be the perfect real life into a story in wrestling. Like, that would be really good. But I feel like Adam Cole, Edge, Adam Copeland, I don't know. I think he'll end up being TNT champion. I really don't want him as. I want Christian Cage to have a little bit longer run with it.
I agree. He's doing good things. People are paying attention. So, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the main event was really good as well. I feel like Vince Russo, if anyone knows who that is, I feel like he was present that night just because of the finish. I could see him doing something like that. But yeah, I'm glad they're continuing the story. This is likely gonna they're gonna have another match from the pay-per-view because a lot of people were saying like, why is this on the pay-per-view? But I think they're gonna have it in their hometown and on the pay-per-view for World's End.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
thought
Tony is. Oh, go ahead.
you can go.
I think Tony is notorious for giving us episodes of Dynamite that should be pay-per-views. Not so much. I'm gonna call that era the hiring boom when they did like the big hiring boomer. They were picking up a whack of talent and like storylines just fell by the wayside. But like before that, it was just like every week was like this feels like a pay-per-view, like this feel like I want to know like what's going to happen, and I feel like they're finally getting back to that space, and I'm very excited, and bringing Edge in with his attention to detail and his storytelling abilities and everything like that. He's a freaking phenomenal wrestling mind, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. So yeah, I mean, I feel like they gave us a match on Dynamite that should have been on a pay-per-view, but he was, to me, it happened quite frequently in the past, and I'm glad to see that kind of stuff coming back because we deserve it.
To your point when I said like about pay-per-view matches, I think that just shows you just how important keeping ratings up on a weekly basis with the networks, right? So by doing that, you have to have these matches. I mean, we saw it with WCW way back in the day, where they had to throw in some big matches. There was like Hogan and Goldberg on a Monday Nitro, where like people are like, "Are you kidding me? This is being a friggin' like this is like a pay-per-view match." But again, that just shows like that's the weight of these what's important, and we have to deliver to the networks. So I think that's why, and you're going to go back to it because if things are starting to slip, you're going to start seeing some of these big matches back, right, to kind of keep that momentum on the weekly network shows.
I'm going to respectfully say that I'm going to go back to I feel like they always had that pay-per-view type quality and to their matches before the hiring boom. And I feel like I don't think it's just about the ratings. I feel like they have such a bloated, fantastic roster, and they have so much talent and so much ability to create storyline and have these matches that why not? You can create such bigger events for your pay-per-views, and they have been. In my opinion anyway, the pay-per-views have only been getting better. But like I could just be a giant mark. I am a giant.
No. Anyway,
I feel like it's just getting to where it needs to be again for the quality. There was a little lull for story wise, but I feel like it's just, to me, it's what I had come to expect from Dynamite, and that's how I feel about that.
I think MJF's gonna take the leadership role in AEW. He just got to meet John Cena, The Rock, and a bunch of people. Someone was relipping, and John Cena said, "I hope to see you in WWE." So, hopefully that I feel like he's already re-signed. I think that he's quietly re-signed through 2027. That's what the Elite signed through. But the best person for stories is MJF. I think he's gonna carry the company. He's gonna be their John Cena. He's gonna be their top star. Which he always a top star, but
yeah,
I think in 2 years, right? In 2 years from now, he'll be a household name that a lot of people will know.
He did say that was like, he's been interviewed before. People asked like, WWE or AEW, and he goes, I wanted to be part of something that was being built, not something already established. You know what I mean? So like, why would you want to be part of something just being built and like, those names that helped build WWF, WWE, and like, and create it, like what happened with those legends, right? Like if you initially made the decision to be with this company because you wanted to be in on the ground floor of something new that is being built, why would you leave? Yeah. In my opinion. And he's stated that he wanted to build with it, like build something new. And so I don't foresee him going anywhere. Now, do I see them teasing it repeatedly because he's a jerk? Yeah, 100%.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, you can see the success. I mean, if you look at someone like Cody, I mean, Cody to me is now perfect for WWE. They love him. He is a perfect fit for WWE. That was someone who he had to leave. His character was more welcomed. I think it was more, but he built that. He built his own brand to get to that point. And when I see Cody now, I can see him as as soon as he's done being a wrestler there, he is guaranteed they're going to make him like a general manager or something.
Exactly.
In the suits, right? He's going to be like how what Triple H kind of became, more the face, because he's great on the mic, he's great on interviews, he's great, and he's just a great, I guess, representation of WWE. So I know I segued. We're not talking about Cody, whatever. I just thought that correlated about staying and someone who leaves, and their even brand is even bigger, right? And Cody's is a good move for Cody in that regard. But I guess we did talk a lot on Dynamite this week. There was a lot to talk about the show. I guess since we're kind of getting close to the 1 hour mark of the show, do you want to dive into a little bit of the Attitude Era? And, yeah. So, what do you think of Connor? Are you kind of thinking of your most memorable spots?
Yeah, we can go with our favorite moments. Personally, one of my favorite Attitude Era wrestlers was obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's hard not to picture Attitude without Austin. But one of my favorite moments was the This Is Your Life with The Rock and Mick Foley. Where The Rock has Mick Foley has this big celebration. He brings his school teacher, his gym teacher, his high school girlfriend, his back teacher, and then The Rock downs all these people, and then it's not even his birthday. So and I believe still to this day that's the most viewed WWE segment of all time. It got like 10.4 million viewers for that segment.
I can't believe that was I thought it was such a ridiculous segment, and I can't believe how popular that was.
Yeah, it became really popular as time went on. That was one of my. I have a lot of my favorite moments, but that's one of them. What about?
Mine. I don't know if you could. I left a little Easter egg in my catchphrase below my name. One of my all-time favorite moments, and if you're saying if you were say like top of mind, what's one of the moments that comes to mind? It's when Y2J, they finally had to count down the clock, and when Jericho came out for the first time, and the place went ballistic. And the first time, and he came out and did his "Welcome to Raw is Jericho." My God, that was probably one of the biggest entrances ever, especially in that time, because again, you didn't have the internet, wasn't as big as it is now, so there's a lot of like skepticism or there's a lot of talking, but then when it actually happened, the place went bonkers, and that was such an amazing moment. I thought it was a great introduction. That was a great moment that he had talked about with Vince McMahon to do the countdown, and he actually brought that up and said, "Hey, what do we do this?" Because again, it was all in line with the new year, and it all totally made sense to have that countdown clock. And I thought it was perfect. And I thought it was to me holds as one of the best introductions. Probably up there, probably close would be AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. That was a big one, but that was for me for the Attitude Era. That's definitely one that really stands out for me.
Hell in a Cell. The very first Hell in a Cell. It was cool because I was again with the 6 older brothers and all that, so like cage matches and all that kind of stuff was crazy. It was so cool, and we had chain link fence in my backyard and whatnot, and so it was like that. You mess around as kids, and so the first Hell in a Cell, seeing the cages stack. I was just like, and I would have been, I was 98. I don't know. I would have been like 8. And I was just like, oh my. And it was the coolest thing ever. People are going to die. People are going to die here. Mom, dad, this is not going to go well. And so that was for me, that was the coolest thing ever. Because it was just the largest structure that I had ever seen. People.
Was that Undertaker and Shawn Michaels?
It was Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Yes, it was. Mm-hmm. And Shawn Michaels looked exactly like my dad. I will show you guys a picture at some point in the group chat and you'll be like, no fucking way, that's your dad. Yeah. But yeah.
And that's the match that he really screwed up his back, right? Yeah. When he came out the chair and off this cage and the way he fell on the table. Mm. That's that move right there. That's what screwed him for the rest of his career, right?
And when I was a kid, all I thought was cage on cage on cage. But and looking back now, obviously it was holy crow. But when I was a kid, it was all just about this massive structure, and I thought people were going to this is the end of days. Somebody is not leaving this building. I am sure of it. And it was just epic.
It's funny though, if you ask people if what they thought, which was the very first Hell in the Cell, I guarantee majority of people would probably think that was Mankind and Undertaker, because that's the
That's
one they
because he
remember,
got tossed.
right? Because
It's
that's the
because of
one,
the toss.
right? I think because, and then people go, oh yeah, that's right, there was one. It was Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
But what really made it famous was that one with Undertaker and Nick Foley, and I couldn't believe it. I watched that live at a bar on pay-per-view. It was insane. Like to the point where he wanted to say like, no, this is insane. He should not be doing this, because you're watching someone kill themselves. That was insane.
Oh yeah.
One of those insane things I've ever seen live. I couldn't believe that they were going with this. And then to find out after that, the cage from the top, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my God. So that was insane. But yeah, no, that's a good pick. The Hell in the Cells.
I remember the Undertaker and Mick Foley were like, the match was over, or was going to be over, and they raised the cage, and Undertaker's still up there, and he's all the way up. They're raising the cage, and he's still up there. So he's like,
hello.
No. Like, then Mick Foley finishes the match, and then gets chokes on through the steel cage, gets put through thumbtacks, his nose, his teeth, his tooth.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, found their way in his nose.
Oh my God.
That was a bad night for Mick Foley.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was a bad night, and it's probably led to a lot of the downfall of his career and his problems. But that solidified him. Like that, if there's any match, right? If you think about the exposure and like the oh my God moment, he solidified himself, right? He will be like, that's a legend. That was a legend moment. Of course, he really killed himself. Also, the Hell in the Cells have been great. You guys remember there was the one Hell in the Cell with Rikishi when he fell back, and there happened to be like a truck of like hay, and I keep on thinking about having that moment where you have to make sure you're looking down and you're like, oh my God, I am going to just free fall backwards and hope that goddamn that truck is behind with that barrel of hay. Like, I think some of these things that these guys do, and I don't even know how they do it.
Well, Rikishi was not a small man. Like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Like, that means something. And it's because when you got that amount of weight coming down, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
Dangerous stuff. These guys do for entertainment. It's crazy.
Yeah. So the next question I have for our Attitude Era questions: what current AEW wrestler would you like to see go against an Attitude Era wrestler? Mine's pretty easy: The Rock and MJF. The pose would be really, really historic. That would just be one of the greatest matches of all time. I feel like there's a lot of other ones, maybe Stone Cold and John Moxley, or
I'm stuck on MJF versus The Rock, just because I want to see like the promos for like weeks. Just keep talking, like feed it to me. I want to listen to you. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, gosh, I'm just trying to think. There's so many good potentials. You've got like you could have like a Triple H versus Hangman Page. Like, those guys are, again, and who would Strickland? That you could put him against maybe early Jericho, from that.
We see it all the time. I don't know. I Bret Hart. Bret Hart was my favorite. But I don't even know who.
You know who? I bet Bryan Danielson versus Bret Hart. That would be
a nice match. It's a very technical match.
Yes,
that would be a solid match. There you go. I picked that.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm excited.
I know he's not in AEW now, but I've always rematched CM Punk and Bret Hart. The closest thing you'll get to that is a video game, but that'll never happen. Ever, ever, ever. I'd have liked to have seen that 15, 20 years ago. Take Prime Bret Hart and put against CM Punk, then maybe, but I'm good now. I don't want to see it now.
I'm like the anti-punker.
Yeah, I'm done.
I never was.
No, I've never cared much from him. I didn't care. I did take when he was a champion during that era in WWE. That's when I took a bit of a break because I just didn't care. I know, like I just was like, nah, I don't see him. I know his stick to be angry and just insult everybody. Like I'm over it. I'm done. And he looks like, again, I was watching him in this promo the other night, and he just looks like a guy who's like an old band, who's in a band, and he's like kind of like, like he's still performing, but like there's no body, there's no like, is he even working out? I mean, I don't
Was
know.
it him in Samoa? It was him versus Samoa Joe Connor, correct? On AEW recently, not long ago. I just
In London, that was in the in All Out.
and like watching him and Samoa Joe go at it, and just like seeing how like out of breath and tired Punk was, and how like raring to go Samoa Joe still was. I was like, like a little bit, but like I will give it to him for his whole straight edge thing. I think that was super that was a really good thing to push in professional wrestling, like in like just in general. It's a really solid message, so I will give him that. But like I didn't, that was when I was taking a break as well, when Punk was super popular. So when bringing him into AEW, I had optimism. I thought that his in-ring work was shoddy, and I was hoping that it was ring rust. And then that never improved, and his attitude only got worse. So unfortunately, I've not been able to get behind him, but I am excited to see what he's going to do now that he went back to WWE, because I feel like he had to eat a lot of crow to go back there. It's a little big old piece of humble pie. So I'm hoping that it, works out. I hear he has like an attitude clause in his
Yeah,
thing.
It's like a behavioral clause.
Yeah, like, I think so.
Again, if you're a grown man and you need a behavioral clause, like isn't that saying something about your character? It's like, hey, you can work here, but as long as you like keep your shit in order. Like you're 40 something years old now, right? I think the best match that he probably had in AEW was the dog collar match with MJF. I think that was really good. And I think that was a promising match. And I think people got excited about that. It's like that was probably the most gruesome one, or probably the best dog collar match ever.
And I was excited for that feud. That was going to be a great feud.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that feud's I think we're gonna get a third match out of that with Punk and MJF. But it's gonna be when MJF possibly jumps ship.
I mean, hey, it'll happen. It's good for business. It happens in sports all the time.
Like a lot of people seem like how Cody got to keep everything. His theme song, his character, basically everything.
I think a
lot of guys like MJF will see that and then say, hey, if Cody's going to use everything, I'm pretty sure they'd give MJF anything.
I would hope so.
They would give
him. You're definitely seeing, because the guys are seeing themselves as and this is also, I think this is what happened back in the 90s with comic books. When you had an artist would create a character, it wouldn't be their own property. It would either be, DC or Marvel, and DC or Marvel would have that property, and they could write that character any way they wanted. But then you got where Image Comics came out, and the artists were like, no. If I'm creating a character, I want that. I want to have creative control. It's my character. I should be able to do what I want and take them with you. So I find a lot of these guys now, because it is a business and they are in business, and they're a moneymaker, right? They're, especially you want to own your character, you want to own your name, you want to own the merchandise, right? You want to have, there's so much that rides on that. So it's all these guys like a Cody will keep their names, right? They want to have that. And like CM Punk, he's being able to keep his music throughout in the switch. Right. So I think some of these guys are like, no. And MJF, I'm sure could be the same. Right. So, but I think because they want to keep their name, they want to keep that and keep their intellectual property. I know that's not a popular thing with, Vince McMahon or WWE, because they want to have full control of every character. But again, if sometimes these guys, if they've worn that
if they ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's the deal. Like, hey, if you want me to come back, you want me here, I want to be this character, and I want to own this. Like it took forever for Cody to finally get to be able to use Rhodes again in AEW, because I guess it was to do with the law, or like the name was about to, or the rights were going to run out with WWE, so he's able to grab it, and the copyright ran out, so he's able to have that. So
it's so unfortunate he had to copyright his own name.
Yeah, right.
Cody kind of slighted AEW because they traded. AEW did
I
Bash at
love
the
that.
Beach. AEW did Bash at the Beach 2020, and Cody wanted his name back, so they traded. They let WWE have Bash at the Beach, and then they got the Rhodes name. Well, WWE ended up getting both.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, they got both. 2 years later, they got both.
Exactly. Honestly, though, you can with Cody Rhodes going back to WWE, that was like bound to happen anyway. There was no way that wasn't going to happen. There in any little and I'm a really big AEW fangirl. But in any little AEW fangirl's mind, if they thought that Cody Rhodes was not going to go back and win that belt at some point in his career, they were mental. Like I said, it's like sports. You see people trade between teams all the time. They go to this team, they go back to that team, they go over here. It happens, and it's good for business. It's also good for people. Like having people go out and wrestle in other companies with other people is just getting them more experience, and they're gonna come to whatever company they wind up at and have all of that experience. Going to New Japan is great. Going to Impact is great. You're getting experience from all over the place, and that's awesome. At the end of the day, it's good. And I think that the competition, healthy competition, and hopefully seeing WWE at Forbidden Door at some point in my life would be really cool, is good. So I
totally get it. I agree. Connor, did you have any more questions on the Attitude Era for now?
It was the main two I had, but
cool. Well, I know we're over the hour, and if we come to some final thoughts, I know I mentioned you guys off before we started, but I just wanted to mention that I did go to my first indie show. I've always been a WWE guy and a WCW guy and an AEW, and I went to the final Impact show under the Impact brand, which was in Mississauga, just outside of Toronto. And man, one of the best experiences ever. And now I am a complete Zack Sabre Jr. fanboy. He is absolute amazing. Like the play to the crowd, the talking, the movements. He is just, when you see him, he's just amazing. So it's great. I had an amazing time. Tickets were $25. I was fifth row.
Nice.
It was a pay-per-view. Rhino in a street match and throwing guys through tables. There was, Tommy Dreamer. I saw him. He retained his digital media title, and man, but just great. Just some really good wrestlers. Great show. Again, so I definitely will be going back, and for the money, for the value, you couldn't beat it. So I just wanted to throw that in there. That was it. An exciting weekend at Indie Wrestling last week.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any final thoughts for the week, or what you're looking forward to?
I'm just super stoked to be here. Oh, I'm looking forward to Final Battle, Ring of Honor. Final Battle. The Athena versus Billy Starks match is going to be my life. Like, she literally built her own opponent. It's fantastic. It's like, oh, look at all the porcelain hussies. I don't know. And then so I'm super excited about. That's what I'm excited about this upcoming.
Is that this week? Is that this week?
It should be on the weekend. It should be Saturday. I'm pretty sure the 15th.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Maybe.
So, well, maybe next week you can fill us in what you thought if you're going to be watching it. You can give us a quick rundown of some of the favorite highlights for the night.
I would love that.
Cool.
Yeah, I think this weekend or the next weekend, CM Punk's my favorite wrestler. He always probably will be. He wasn't always my favorite wrestler. I used to hate him because mainly because I used to love Jeff Hardy, and he's the reason that Jeff Hardy wasn't in WWE anymore. But as I got older, CM Punk became an inspiration for me because everything they said he couldn't do, he did. He never won a world championship. He would never main event WrestleMania. He would never headline WrestleMania. He would never go against The Rock. He would never win the Intercontinental. Everything they said he wouldn't do, he did. So for me, that's a big inspiration. But if things go as planned, and I'm supposed to meet CM Punk in Chicago through a person. Hopefully it works out.
That would be so wonderful.
I've never met CM Punk. I've seen wrestle, but I've never met him. But hopefully that goes down this weekend, because if it doesn't, it's going to be a disaster. But hopefully next week I can tell more of that story if it happens.
Cool.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, man. Well, good. We'll keep your fingers crossed for it, and it'll be interesting. That's exciting. Good for you.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Well, I guess that looks like that wraps up another episode of AEZ Canada. That was episode 18. Great chatting with you. I think we had a great show, a lot of good insight, a lot of good wrestling going on. It's just like it's overflow of wrestling these days. So it was great to see everybody, and we'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Have a good one.